Texas Senator John Cornyn helped launch a hearing into what he claims was a coordinated cover-up of President Joe Biden's health while he was in office. It marks a new level in the push by Senate Republicans to paint President Biden as unfit to lead. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson has the story.
Senate Republicans say the American people were misled, accusing the Biden administration and even members of the national press of covering up the former president's declining health.
Jake Tapper had a bombshell book exposing the incredible scandal that Biden's mental decline was covered up by Jake Tapper.
The hearing focused on what GOP senators like Texas's Ted Cruz and Tennessee's Marsha Blackburn called a pattern of concealment.
With your very own eyes, you could look at any of the footage and see what was transpiring with President Biden.
This hearing was the most aggressive yet by Senate Republicans to try to paint then President Biden as unfit to lead, reigniting debate over presidential health disclosures.
Apparently, armchair diagnosing former President Biden is more important than the issues of grave concern.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin and Vermont Senator Peter Welch called the hearing political theater.
Because the politics that has been embraced in this Congress is the politics of accusation.
Some legal scholars testified supporting GOP claims about Biden's misuse of the auto pen.
An auto pen could be used by a subordinate, but the president's determination as to sign the document can never be delegated.
The office of former President Joe Biden denies a cover-up and any misuse of the auto pen during his term. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson.
Senator John Cornyn co-chaired the hearing. The Texas Republican spoke to reporters afterwards about what he saw as the primary takeaway from the event.
Well, there was a monumental failure of the cabinet and the vice president to act, even though they had a duty to act under the 25th Amendment. So there's no question they had the ability to raise this issue earlier when his incapacity became obvious to everybody who was paying attention. So Congress needs to look at what possible remedies that we might be able to legislate.
Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee refused to participate in the hearing. They called it a distraction from more pressing issues, including President Trump's use of the military to respond to immigration protests in Los Angeles. One day after the hearing, former President Biden came to Texas for a Juneteenth celebration. A large crowd gathered outside the historic Reedy Chapel AME Church in Galveston. The church calls itself the birthplace of Juneteenth. Inside the Galveston church, there were cheers as the former president made his way down the aisle to speak to the congregation.
You know, this sacred day, it reminds me of another sacred day. That wonderful day 4 years ago in the East Room of the White House. And I had a great honor, where some objected from some, of making Juneteenth a federal holiday.
During the service, Biden was presented with a plaque for his role in designating Juneteenth as the nation's newest federal holiday. Thank you again for joining us for State of Texas. I'm Dylan McKim. We'll be back here next week to bring you an in-depth look at Texas politics.